So what we're here right now is Fresh Ice Cuba. You're virtually in Cuba. You experience the sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, and the touch of being in Havana in Cuba. It's a result of the Fresh Ice Cuba project, which was a 10-day immersion of 14 of our art center students from various departments within the city of Havana. So we lived there, we worked there, we collaborated for 4 days with the design students of ISTE, which is the local Havana design school. And our students and teams collaborated then with the Cuban students to create what we call pop-ups, 7 different installations that address various aspects that the Cuban young people are mostly motivated to talk about, to speak about. It was all about free articulation of wishes, wants, fears, private things, political things. And within this group work, we created these different installations that then brought these sentiments to life. Well, this whole exhibition that you see here is designed in the Cuban spirit of every Cuban is a designer. Why is everyone a designer? Because there is so much scarcity in things that we take for granted here in the United States. So to make do, to improvise, to create something out of nothing is that kind of resourcefulness is something what our students learned here. What you see here are different ways of working with all the imagery that our students shot here. So you see big image photos that are dispersed into the whole space. We have over 4,000 square feet right now here of an exhibition. The most prevalent sayings that our students picked up on the streets and with the Cuban students are now here immortalized as silk screen type on different pieces of laundry, because the laundry line is one of the most defining visual things you can see in Cuba. There are interaction installation here where people can interact with imagery that were shot here. You see installations that capture our many drives on buses and taxis, but brought back into the space. So overall, all the digital assets that we collected here are brought back into scale, into space, into what we call media texture installations. In the beginning here, when you enter the exhibition, you have one thing that we encountered when we entered the country, that these machines here are nothing worth because there's no internet reception. And so we're asked here to actually put our telephones into a protective sleeve to be completely present in this show. Because that was one of our experience of all the students and the faculty as well, is that when you can't rely on these little screens with every step you're taking, then you're fully present in real time. And that is an experience that our visitors here in the show will also experience. So TestLab Berlin is a series of projects. These projects are 1 semester long. They're limited by the 90 days of a tourist visa that our students can attain. And for these 90 days, our students live and work in Berlin. We have Art Center has a little satellite studio in Berlin. And every time a group goes there, they get a different design challenge. So this time, TestLab Berlin had a very interesting design challenge that was about the last urban international airport that exists in Berlin is about to be closed in about a year from now. So this area, which is a piece of prime real estate very closely connected to the city, will be now brought into a different use. So what the Berlin Senate and some private investors are working on is what they call the Urban Tech Republic. The Urban Tech Republic is a center of innovation for urban green technology. So it's a big park. It's like a Silicon Valley conglomeration of research and startup businesses to work on green technology. So this concept is already in place. What was not in place was any kind of idea of how this very ambitious project can connect back to what makes Berlin so vibrant and rich, which are the creative industries and the artists who live in Berlin, who hail from all over the world and make this a true creative metropolis. So our project our Test Lab Berlin project now was how to connect the Urban Tech Republic to that creative industry of Berlin. And this is where a project that this group called CityX has started. And what you see here in this exhibition are 4 distinctively different strategies on how to engage the hackers, the tinkerers, the artists, the musicians that live in Berlin, that thrive in Berlin, with that ambitious Urban Tech Republic. So here at Art Center College of Design, our students, every student, no matter in what kind of major you're enrolled, you learn the highest level of the technical skills of your profession that you're going to enter. However, to become a thriving artist and designer in our world, you also have to be able to immerse yourself in very different cultures. You have to go out of your comfort zone and you have to immerse yourself into something that's completely different from where you're from. And going both to Cuba and to Berlin for the other group were prime examples of what we do in studio abroad, in study abroad, where we not necessarily go into the sheltered environment of another school, but where we go into the world and live there as the local creators would do.